My name is James, and I need to tell you something that happened to me. Something that changed my life forever. Something so painful that even now as I speak, my chest still hurts. It all started in college, year 1, first semester. I was new. I knew nobody. I was sitting alone at the back of the class, eating my lunch by myself, like a ghost, when she walked in. Her name was Grace, and the moment she entered that room, everything became quiet in my head. Not because she was the most beautiful girl I had ever seen, but because she looked around the whole class, saw me sitting alone in the corner, and she smiled. Not a fake smile, a real one. Like she was happy to see me, like we had met before somewhere. She walked straight to where I was sitting and said, "Can I sit here?" I almost choked on my food. "Yes," I said, "of course." She sat down, opened her lunch and said, "You look like someone who has a lot going on in his head." I laughed. "How did you know?" She shrugged, because I look the same way too sometimes. And just like that, we started talking. We talked about everything that day. Family, dreams, fear, loneliness, things I had never told anyone in my life, things that had been sitting inside my chest for years. She listened to every single word. She didn't look at her phone. She didn't get bored. She just listened. And when I was done, she looked at me and said something I have never forgotten. She said, "James, you are not alone anymore." I didn't know what to say. Nobody had ever said that to me before. From that day, we became inseparable. We walked to class together, we studied together, we called each other late at night just to talk about nothing and everything at the same time. People around us started calling us the perfect two. And slowly, I started feeling something I had never felt before. Something warm, something deep, something that made me smile every time her name appeared on my phone screen. Something that made my heart beat a little faster every time she laughed. I tried to ignore it. I told myself, "She's your friend, James. Don't ruin this." But one evening, we were sitting outside under the big tree near the hostel. The sun was going down, the sky was orange and red. She put her head on my shoulder. Neither of us said anything, and in that silence, I knew I had fallen deeply in love with Grace. I knew I could no longer pretend, and I knew that very soon I was going to tell her. But what I didn't know, what I could never have imagined in my worst nightmare, was that telling her the truth would one day destroy us both. If you missed episode 1, my name is James, and I told you about Grace, the girl who sat next to me on my very first day in college, the girl who looked at me, a complete stranger, and said, "You are not alone anymore." I told you how we became the best of friends, how we talked every day, every night about everything and nothing, how slowly, without even planning it, I fell in love with her. But I didn't tell you everything. I didn't tell you just how deep it went. So, let me continue. 3 months passed, and every single day, Grace made life feel easier. She had this way of showing up exactly when I needed her. If I was stressed about exams, she would bring food to my room and sit with me until midnight, reading her own books, just so I wouldn't feel alone. If I had a bad day, she would call me and say, "Talk, I'm listening." She never made me feel like a burden. She never made me feel like I was too much. And that was the problem. Because every time she did something kind, I fell a little deeper. Every time she laughed at my stupid jokes, my heart did something embarrassing inside my chest. I started noticing small things about her. The way she always chewed her pen when she was thinking. The way she never finished her juice. She always left a little at the bottom of the cup. The way she said my name, James, like it meant something important. I started looking forward to seeing her every morning. I started sleeping late at night just so I could stay on the phone with her a little longer. My roommate noticed. His name was Daniel.
And one evening, he looked at me from across the room and said, "Bro, you are in love." I denied it immediately. "No, she's just my friend."
Daniel laughed. "James, you smiled 3 times in the last 2 minutes just from reading her text messages." I looked down at my phone. I was smiling. I put the phone face down and cleared my throat. Daniel shook his head slowly. "Just tell her, man." But I was scared. What if she didn't feel the same way? What if I destroyed the best friendship I had ever had? What if she looked at me differently after that? Grace was the one good thing in my life. I couldn't afford to lose her. So I kept quiet. I buried the feelings deeper. I told myself, be her friend, James. Just be her friend. But then something happened. One night, she called me. It was past midnight. I could hear from her voice that she had been crying. "Grace, what happened?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "James, do you ever feel like you don't belong anywhere? Like no matter where you go, something is always missing?" My heart broke a little. "Yes," I said quietly. "I feel that way all the time." She sniffed. "Me too. I feel it every day. But whenever I'm with you, that feeling goes away." I couldn't breathe. "Grace." "Don't say anything," she whispered. "Just don't go anywhere, okay?" "I'm not going anywhere," I told her. "I promise." And she believed me. She trusted me with everything she had. But what I didn't know, what neither of us could ever have imagined, was that the promise I just made her was going to be the most painful promise either of us would ever keep. I had made her a promise. I'm not going anywhere. And I meant it. But what I didn't expect was that Grace was about to make it impossible for me to keep hiding what I felt. It was a Friday night. Our department was throwing a party. Everyone was going. The music was loud, the lights were low, and the whole compound was full of people dancing and laughing. Grace showed up at my door wearing a red dress. Just a simple red dress. But I stood there at my doorway like an absolute fool, staring at her like I had forgotten how to speak. She laughed. "James, close your mouth." I blinked. I was just, "You look fine." "Fine?" She raised one eyebrow. "I mean, good. You look good." She shook her head and grabbed my hand. "Come on, let's go." The moment her hand touched mine, I felt it. That warm rush that started from my fingers and went straight to my chest. I told myself, "James, hold it together." At the party, we danced. Not slow dancing, just the normal kind. Jumping around, laughing, acting silly. But then, the music changed. A slow song came on. And before I could step back, Grace turned to me and opened her arms. "Dance with me," she said simply. My heart stopped. "Grace, I don't really..." "Grace," she tilted her head. "Dance with me." I had no choice. I stepped closer. My hands went to her waist. Her hands went around my neck. And we swayed, slowly. Her head dropped on my shoulder. I could smell her hair. I could feel her warmth. The whole party disappeared. The music disappeared. The people, the noise, everything. Gone. It was just me and her. And in that moment, something cracked inside me. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep pretending. I couldn't keep swallowing this feeling every single day like it was nothing. When the song ended, I pulled back and looked at her. Grace, I need to tell you something. She looked up at me, her eyes soft. What? My mouth went dry. My hands were shaking slightly. I stopped, started again. I don't know how to say this without ruining everything, but I can't keep quiet anymore. It's killing me. Her expression shifted, became serious. James, what is it? I took a breath. I like you. Not as a friend, not as a classmate. I like you, Grace. I have liked you since the first day you sat next to me and told me I wasn't alone. And every single day since then, it has only gotten stronger. I tried to stop it. I tried to ignore it. But I can't. Silence. The music was still playing behind us, but I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything except the sound of my own heartbeat hammering in my ears. Grace stared at me. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. My stomach dropped. She doesn't feel the same. I just destroyed everything. I opened my mouth to say, forget I said anything. But Grace grabbed my face with both hands and she kissed me. Right there, in the middle of the party. A real kiss. A long one. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet, tears sitting right at the edge. I have been waiting, she whispered, for you to say that for months. I laughed, a shaky, relieved, disbelieving laugh. Why didn't you just say it? She said, laughing and crying at the same time. I pulled her close and held her tight. For the first time in a long time, everything felt right. Everything felt complete. We had no idea that this beautiful moment, this perfect, joyful night, was the beginning of the worst pain either of us would ever feel in our lives.